Oh, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you know, over the years, at least if you're a watcher of this channel for several years, I'm no stranger to backdrops. We've tried several different backdrops and I've had mixed results and pretty happy with several of the backdrops out there. But I needed a very unique backdrop for a section of my layout I've been working on called Cheyenne. It's essentially the Cheyenne roundhouse where UP Steam operates, at least a somewhat representation of that. And I needed something similar to that landscape, so I was looking around the internet and I settled on a website, but little did I know they had a specific city skyline or a skyline for Cheyenne, and they had multiple different angles. So they had exactly what I needed for the section I was working on. And they also had the size I needed. So I figured, let's try them out, do a review, see what you get. So with that said, let's check out this review of the railroadbackdrops.com 36 by 96 Cheyenne backdrop. First, I want to show you the finished product, and my goal was to replicate the UP Steam shops. Now, the car shop is a different style and should be placed over here, and then this roundhouse should be turned a little more for this orientation, but I didn't know exactly what I was going to get because I started on this before I ordered the backdrop. But I ended up with this backdrop, and goal one was block the ugly garage, which I would say is accomplished with a 36-inch tall backdrop and a 96-inch wide backdrop. So it's 3 feet by 8 feet, and it is indeed magnificent. And it looks pretty good on this layout. And the Cheyenne work that I did, although minor, it really adds to that, and a backdrop usually does finish that off. So let's go over and talk about execution of unrolling this backdrop. I didn't have footage of this because the angles I was working with, and I was working by myself as my family was out that day. So I don't have footage of unrolling it, but it just came in a mailer tube in a outer box as well. So it was very secure in that sense and sent priority mail. And so when I received it, I immediately wanted to apply it to this backboard, so that's what I did, and we're going to walk over to the other angle of this. Now the backdrop came with instructions, but if you're like any warm-blooded male, you don't pay attention to instructions, nor did I. And I was going to show you the instructions at least, but they've already gotten misplaced during the cleanup of this section because this was a giant mess, and I cleaned everything up after the backdrop was mounted. But the backdrop was very, very durable, and I'm sure they had a lot of instructions on how to unroll this, but it unrolled from the right to the left, and all I did was take some Gorilla double-sided tape, as you can see here, just peeking out, and this board is just a little larger than the backdrop. I believe the 36 by 96 may be with the white trim. You can pay to have the white trim removed. Or this board is the wrong size. I'm not sure. I didn't take the time to measure. I took pieces of Gorilla double-sided tape, and I started on the top left corner, made sure we were squared up, and then we started working our way over, and I did the top, middle, and bottom, top, middle, top, middle, top, middle, top, middle, several pieces, pulling it, stretching it straight as possible. And then I went along the bottom and added several pieces of tape. And then I went along the top and added several pieces of double-sided tape. So is there a little bit of variance? Could I have gotten it a little straighter? Yes. If I would have used adhesive glue or some of the other, or paid attention to the instructions like I should have. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the results, and the durability is really good. Like, I needed to relay it down, and I was able to pull this up and put it back down. The durability is nice and thick, has a really nice finish. I'm very, very impressed with this backdrop and how it turned out. So the other thing I did, and I would suggest to you if you're getting help and you're worried about scraping it all, I put 2 pieces of felt tape. You can see it wrapped around the edge here. 2 layers of felt tape so that if it did rub up against that wood of the benchwork, it wouldn't scratch or damage the backdrop. Now let's talk about variations. There's tons, probably, I don't know, dozens if not hundreds of variations on their website, especially when you talk about the different combinations. Like, for example, Cheyenne, you can get it from different directions, west facing, east facing, I can't remember. But I saw this and realized this is what I wanted. And then you can get different cloud formations. You can get dark skies, light skies, clouds, light clouds, whatever you want. And there is a shadow here. This is why I'm not boxing this in with 36-inch all the way around. I'm going to put 12-inch backdrops over here. But I have this light here to help kind of counterbalance that, since I don't have much light up here. I could probably add a light on this side if I wanted to kind of balance that out a little better. But too much light also kind of shows those vertical areas where I failed to stretch this backdrop perfectly straight. But the backdrop itself is amazing, and it plays off this scenery that took way too long for what it was. But it is an amazing backdrop overall. Now I will say that Cheyenne itself, other than the configuration of the turntable, also has like a quadruple line of train tracks going this way, and there's no actual barren land in between the roundhouse and the station that's viewed in this backdrop. But overall, very, very impressed with it. I will say, I won't go back on camera to wrap anything up, but the customer service was also excellent. If I had a question, it was answered easily within a day, possibly within 4 or 6 hours. The guy's name is James, and no bias there on names or anything, but he did a great job responding to my messages and answering all my questions. And once the order was placed, after he guided me through that process, because I'm a little special when it comes to the internet and trying to make sure I get what I want. After he guided me through the process, he told me exactly when he was going to be printing and shipping and when to expect it. So overall, very impressed with the level of customer service, the responsiveness, and the quality of this backdrop. So it is yet another option if you want specific city skylines or something different on your layout, or certain city aspects. This is definitely the place, railroadbackdrops.com. So with that said, that is it for this little section here. There'll be a shorter 12-inch backdrop put back here for this mountain range, and this mountain range that keeps trains from running off. One other thing about James Adams, the owner or operator of railroadbackdrops.com, they also have affordablemodelrailroads.com and layoutprinting.com. So there's some other services they offer as well. So with that said, guys, very, very happy with this and how it turned out. I can't wait to kind of wrap this whole area up with some shorter backdrops that are just sky blue. And we'll see you next time right here on the channel. Take care.